I wanted to go ahead and share more specific content on our YouTube channel. So because of that, we went ahead and posted some of the questions on our Twitter and on our YouTube channel to go ahead and give a little bit more clarity on some of the topics that most of the people are interested about. So I don't want to say that we're experts in kind of running the agency space. We've been there for the last 4 years and we're continuously learning, but I'm always willing to give some of our processes and our journey so that hopefully somebody else is going to be able to learn that, implement that on their business, and kind of save the hassle that we went through kind of on our side by implementing some of these topics. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see which questions do we have. The first question we do have is from Search Historian, and let me read kind of the question here first. It's like negotiation and scoping related stuff, especially what a client thinks they need and what they actually need don't actually match. And we do see this often. So I do feel like the first thing is like you need to acknowledge what a client is actually asking you to do. So don't just actually say directly, hey, I know that you asked us to do this, but we sent you an estimate for something completely different. But first, okay, go ahead and send them an estimate of what they gonna ask you to do so and kind of how much is that gonna cost. And on the other side, also suggest your options and why they are better. Be transparent. That's one of our values at Flow Ninja Studio, to be as transparent as possible. And the example here can be in a way where you can kind of go ahead and showcase that. So we're using Prospero for our proposals, and you can always suggest options for collaboration. So you can maybe say, okay, you can do ongoing improvements on a monthly basis. You can do Webflow development one time, but what we actually recommend is an end-to-end Webflow implementation where we're going to be repositioning the website, we're going to be doing strategy, we're going to be doing the redesign of the website, and only then implement on Webflow instance. Based off of that, just make sure that whoever is actually reaching out to you, that they have their first need met, so that they know, okay, they're listening to me and like they actually kind of send me like everything needed for what I think I need. But also they went ahead and kind of went above and beyond in creating everything needed for the other thing and kind of suggested why it is better. I mean, like recently we had a project at our studio where the client wanted just design work done, but they were on a different platform. Like we knew that they're gonna have a much easier time and like they're gonna actually need a lot less design work if they migrate to Webflow. But we wanted to go ahead and kind of showcase them, okay, here is what we can do on a monthly basis for doing just design. We do think it's better for you to migrate to Webflow. So here is the estimate of actually migrating to Webflow plus going on an ongoing design and development for Webflow kind of contract afterwards. So kind of we're probably going to be signing the client, but also we went ahead and kind of showcased, okay, first, this is what you actually wanted, and this is what we suggest and why we think it's better. And we actually spent twice the amount of time in creating the proposal because we needed to go ahead and create options for both of those ideas. The next thing we have is I would like to explain the process of becoming a Webflow expert and what should you focus on to become a top tier Webflow developer. So it's a great question. We do have these asked a lot of times. So I guess the first thing is identifying, do you want to be a designer, a digital designer, or a Webflow development expert? So both are possible on Webflow, but just identifying, do I just want to design kind of with interactions and I want to go ahead and kind of design showcase websites, or do you want to go ahead into the development space and learn actual development by leveraging Webflow as a tool, and like Webflow is going to be allowing you to do so. So when you identify how you want to position yourself with these two, on our side, we do have a design team which is working in Figma, not in Webflow, and our development team is technical and they know kind of technical development and technical implementations on Webflow itself. So we're going more on that direction. And then based off of that, our process was first we kind of created some, let's say, fake websites because we were recreating a lot of the websites, etc., just to build our portfolio. Then we built kind of websites for friends completely for free. Then we moved to platforms like Fiverr. Like my first project was $100 project, which took like more than 160 hours. So we worked on kind of really low paid projects just to kind of hone our skill and to kind of understand everything on the real world use case. Afterwards, we started creating a lot of free resources, templates for Webflow, etc., to start pushing us to the market. And by leveraging all of those, we were able to get some better clients. When you do so, like when you go through all of that process, it's not gonna be short, but it's important that you don't buy courses, that there is not gonna be any secret tactic. Just build 20 Webflow websites and you're gonna become better, and watch YouTube videos on kind of how you can build those websites in the best way possible. That's gonna give you the best possible outcome. And like, we're not here to sell you a course, it's just work, and like the more you work, the better you're gonna become. After all that, you can go ahead on the Webflow website, on the Webflow experts, and you're gonna be able to go ahead and gonna apply to become a Webflow expert. You're gonna need to have, I think, at least 5 Webflow websites already developed and live for clients, which you can share the preview link of. so that you can showcase the way you've been building the website on the back end. You can share the story, and you can share for which clients you've done so. And by doing so, you're going to be able to become a Webflow expert, and you're going to be able to kind of start gaining even more leads by leveraging the Webflow Experts program. The next question we have is from Jose Urbano, and that is how to find clients for me. The age-old questions of how to find clients. I mean, necessarily on our side, it would be pretty hard to say kind of how do we find clients, because usually clients find us, but that is a much longer process. So we've never done outbound sales. Like, you can do outbound sales, like, and there are many, like, maybe cold email marketing campaigns and whatever, that some other agencies are going to be able to kind of give you tips on that and kind of how you can actually do that. But we're probably not the best ones to give advice on that, because we've never done it. From day one, since we started working, we were focusing on the long run and kind of how can we position our studio in the long run, which takes a lot more time. And based off of that, we formed partnerships in the US, in UAE, kind of in London and whatever, and like in Germany mostly, that where we do have kind of business development people who are going to be sending us leads. Then we also invested a lot in content, like you're watching this YouTube video, we publish a lot of blogs, SEO content related, but in general, we just try to be everywhere. And based off of that, like, we're growing a bigger and bigger brand, and you only need a small fraction of those people to convert, because we do have, like, let's say 20 to 30,000 people, maybe even more, currently visiting our website. We just need few of those people to be eligible for our services in order to convert. But even like with that, I think we have a 2% conversion rate on our landing page for getting in touch. So it's just about kind of sharing your story, and then like using your free time where you don't have clients to create something valuable for other people where they're going to be finding that valuable. So that is like if you want to build this in the long run. On the other side, I do think like even platforms like Upwork.com have been a huge success for me 5 years ago or something like that when we did start the studio slowly. So you can find great clients on those platforms. You do have other platforms that are kind of popping up slowly, like I think there's A-Team, many other kind of freelancing platforms that are popping up, and those can be a great lead source, because I feel like it's much easier to sell somebody who is in a market for a Webflow website, a Framer website, or for a digital transformation or anything that sort, than it is to do cold sales and like to try to kind of sell somebody on the service itself. So like, as you're gonna have time, go ahead and send video proposals to everybody, whoever you're gonna be reaching out to. Make sure to send a unique video proposal, because you do have time on your hand, and that way you're going to be the one standing out on those freelancing platforms. You're going to be able to kind of win more contracts and win more work. The next one is something about how we do QA at our studio. Basically, I think that is one of the things that makes or breaks a good website, and that is actually doing a good QA process. So based off of that, like, we've tested many different automation services, but in the end we realized that we do need to have an in-house QA team. So maybe one of the biggest agency hacks is, instead of having your developers, designers, your project managers doing quality assurance, go ahead and make sure that you hire a quality assurance person. So maybe you can find them on Upwork.com, maybe you can find them on other freelancing platforms, or you can hire somebody who wants to maybe do Webflow in the long run, but they're still not ready for that, and like they're not maybe able to earn the salary kind of for a Webflow expert. Maybe like they can start working as a quality assurance kind of engineer to make sure they get familiar with the process. So based off of that, we do have QAs going through every single one of the websites. You can see here that like even one of the websites that we thought of was perfect has more than 100 bugs that we just found on mobile, desktop, with different browsers, etc., and that we do fix all of those bugs before we go ahead and launch the campaign itself. On the other hand, if you want to go ahead and kind of just see our general checklist, just because like usually it's site specific and we create specific cases for specific websites where we do see kind of some of the things being kind of broken, I'm going to be sharing a QA checklist template down below for you to go ahead and download and use for your next project to make sure that everything is as good as possible. Additionally, this is our QA checklist. You can also go to flow.ninja/Webflow checklist to go ahead and go through everything we are kind of checking off for like every single one of our projects, even before sending it to QA, to make sure that your website is as flawless as possible. It's gonna take maybe the last 10% of actually doing that QA. Sometimes takes the same amount of time as the whole website, but the great thing is you're gonna be able to kind of deliver a great service to your client. They're not gonna be doing QA for you, and in the end, you're just gonna be creating a lot more marketing for you, because you're gonna be delivering a better service. They're gonna be talking about how good of an agency they found to do their Webflow website, and in the long run, that's going to be worth it. And the final thing is kind of, are we using a Notion free plan, and how we're using Notion. So additionally, on top of Notion, we do have our own internal project management tool we've developed with Wise and Webflow, and you can go ahead and see that every single one of our team member just logs in, and they can see their work, they can see our team, and like whatever everybody from the team is working. And they can also go to all projects and see our clients and see kind of what we're working on. I don't want to go into that just because I don't want to disclose our clients info, but like we do use that for the most of it. Additionally, for all the documentation and everything like that, we do use Notion, and like everything is documented there. We have the company board where we do have a bunch of things documented. We have a custom onboarding flow. So we have the company board with all of our things. We have the onboarding board. We do have kind of plans for every single one of our clients. I mean, like plans. I mean, like we do have workspaces for every single one of our clients where we do have documentations for them. So we do use still Notion a lot, even though we do have our own project management app, which is kind of related to client facing and like our team facing. But on top of that, we do have Notion, and you can also set publishing permissions there, so you can see who can see everything. Like if you're on a paid plan, you can see, can the client see only that specific item, or they can see everything, so you can cater the Notion plan on top of that. So if you have a lot more questions about kind of how it is to run a Webflow agency and kind of run a digital agency of any matter, you can leave questions down below, as we record videos every single week, and this is going to be a great inspo for us to either record one of these QA sessions or to record a specific video on the topic itself.